Hello, I'm Gareth Hall and welcome to the official announcement of the slot holders for the first ever running of the Tab the Phoenix. Of course, it's Greyhound's newest race, the only slot race in the sport, of course, anywhere in the world. Let's welcome in the GM of the Meadows, the man behind this wonderful idea, Ash Baker. Hello to you, Ash.
G'day, Gareth.
The time has arrived, mate.
It has. It's exciting to be here. I can't believe we're sitting here and finally announcing the slot holders. It's been a long journey and a really interesting process along the way, and we're going to have some very excited people tonight and probably a few disappointed because someone's got to miss out, unfortunately.
So we'll announce the 8 slot owners or slot holders as the show goes on here. And we're about to have a chat to Dr. Dennis Napvine, who was the chair of the independent panel that chose the slot holders. Tell us a little bit about how you picked that panel.
Yeah, look, my board were very keen from the inception of this race that we had a very transparent and open process in terms of how the slot holders would be chosen. We wanted to avoid any potential conflicts of interest. These are always going to be controversial sort of things. So I went away and undertook to form a panel that had some robust integrity people on board. Dr. Dennis Napvine, who is obviously the former Premier, was a racing minister, knows our club really well and is a great supporter of our industry. He was the logical choice to be the chairperson of that 3-person panel. And then through some contacts of mine through the industry, I was managed to secure 2 other sports integrity experts, I guess you could say, in Miss Tara Hastings, who sits on the Gold Coast Turf Club board, is a qualified lawyer, has done a lot of work in the racing industry in that field. And also Mr. Dean Keno, who I believe played some cricket for Australia at some point in his younger years, but is also had plenty of time at Cricket Australia working in their legal and integrity space. So really, really strong integrity background.
Were you surprised with the nominations that come your way?
Yeah, look, people will say only 14, but I was wrapped. I was worried about actually having a race. And to get 14 and we're going to have 6 people that are going to miss out, yeah, I was over the moon, and really diverse applications.
The man in charge to help pick these slots was, of course, Dr. Dennis Napvine, who was the chair of the panel, and he joins us now. Hello to you, Dennis.
Hello, Gareth. It's a pleasure talking to you.
When you were first approached to do this job from the Meadows and GRV, what was your response?
I was actually very interested and surprised they asked me, and it's a great honour and privilege. And this is a great event. It's really innovative, exciting, and I think it's great for greyhound racing across Australia and particularly for Victoria and the Meadows. So I was very pleased to be involved.
How many applicants did you have to choose from?
Well, I was surprised because there were 14 applicants and they were very diverse, very innovative, very exciting, and it was a real challenge trying to get them to the 8 for the boxes that are available. So it really was a tough process.
Did the proposals exceed your expectations?
Oh, there's no doubt. They well and truly exceeded my expectations, both in terms of the number of proposals, but also the depth and quality of the proposals. The ideas they brought forward about how they'd select their dog, the ideas about how they'd promote the Phoenix as a concept, the ideas about how they would promote greyhound racing, not only in Victoria, but across Australia through this process. So they were really great applications, and it was really difficult for us to get down to the final list of 8.
Was there any particular applicant that really surprised you? They went above and beyond, thought outside of the square, Dennis?
There were a very large number who went outside the square and looked at not only having perhaps lead-up races, but also involving other sporting jurisdictions as part of the promotional package, also involving media and betting organisations. So there are a whole lot of different angles and proposals put forward that really are really terrific for greyhound racing and involve greyhound racing in other states, other jurisdictions, and involve people broader than greyhound racing. And I think that's one of the great things about the Phoenix. I think it'll capture the imagination of not only the industry, but plenty of people outside the industry, which will bring those people into greyhound racing into the future.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's what makes the Everest so great, the thoroughbred industry, is that when you have a slot race like that, and you've pointed this out on a few occasions, that the race actually markets itself. through the slot owners?
Oh, certainly. There's a number of layers to it because each of these slot owners are stories in themselves. How they select the dogs that will represent them in the Phoenix is another process that, and many of them have different ways to do that. So there's all these layers of discussion. And of course, with the Phoenix, you'll have the interstate rivalry between the various jurisdictions and states where different dogs will be coming from different parts of Australia to this great event on the 18th of December at the Meadows.
Well, Dr. Dennis Natvine, you're going to make 8 organisations or individuals pretty happy. There'll be a few disappointed individuals or organisations that didn't quite make the cut, but there's always next year, and I would imagine you'll be looking forward to having a look at the applicants for the 2022 Phoenix.
I think that's the thing about this, that this is the first time, and it's only 1 year that the slot will be held by those people. So there'll be plenty of opportunity for people to learn and apply for next year. And I think there'll also be opportunities for MGRA to look at whether there are other events that can be associated with the Phoenix for those slot holders who do miss out, and perhaps we can have different levels of this going forward.
This event will grow, I've got no doubt about that. Have you got any advice for any of those future applicants going forward, Dennis?
I think the real advice is the more you can involve the whole community in your application, the more you can have a lead-up process that people can get involved with, get excited by, the more this will deliver outcomes that are positive for greyhound racing wherever it is being done around Australia, but also it'll produce really good outcomes for the Phoenix and for greyhound racing across Australia.
Good on you, Dennis. Well done, and can't wait to see you at the first ever running of the Phoenix in December.
Absolutely looking forward to it.
There we go. Dr. Dennis Natvine, of course, the chair of the Independent Assessment Panel. It's now time to announce the slot owners for the TAB Phoenix. Really looking forward to this. The anticipation's been building for quite some time. And to help me do this, of course, is the CEO of the Meadows, Ash Baker. Ash, you're a little nervous. I'm a little bit nervous. Excited. Now, these slot owners, slot holders, when we announce them, they're not in any particular order.
No. I've got a massive smile on my face,
Yep.
Gareth. I'm nervous because obviously someone's got to miss out. There was 14 applicants and only 8 can get a slot. But I'm also excited that we're actually sitting here talking about this. It's been so long coming, and now we actually get to announce them, which is just fantastic.
All right, mate, take it away.
All right, so the first slot holder for the inaugural TAB Phoenix to be held on the 18th of December 2021 is the New South Wales Greyhound Breeders, Owners and Trainers Association.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about that organisation. Obviously, they represent the participants, I guess, in New South Wales.
Yeah, so they're a body up in New South Wales, similar to like we have in Victoria and the other states, that represent trainers, owners and most of the participants in our industry. They also have a little bit of a different role to some of the other associations across the country in that they also run Wentworth Park and a few of the other clubs across New South Wales. So they're quite a big association, and I think we've got General Manager Steve Noyce on the line to join us in a minute, Gareth, to talk to. So he'll be able to give a bit more information, but they put in a fantastic application. I sat on the panel as a non-voting member.
Yep.
And I know for a fact that the panel were really impressed with the depth of information they went to, the creativity and the innovation. And Steve might be able to talk a little bit more about that, but really good application and excited to have them on board.
Well, the GM of the New South Wales Greyhound Breeders, Owners and Trainers Association is Steve Noyce, and he joins us now. Steve, congratulations, you're into the TAB Phoenix. How about that?
Fantastic.
You got
Bloody beauty, great news. We need a little bit of wonderful news up here with everything, the circumstances around us. But yeah, I'm shaking, I'm nervous, I don't know what to say.
Well done, mate. Obviously it means a lot to your organisation. When this first arrived, or the announcement of this slot race here in Victoria, why did your organisation want to be part of it?
It's interesting, I look back and think, as Ash is aware, it was probably within 24 hours. I think innovation is the key to the success of our industry moving forward, and I congratulate Ash and everyone at the Meadows and GRV for their initiative. Being the first to do something is can be a bit, ballsy at times. So I'm excited about that. Yeah, it's fair to say we see what the Everest and the Kosciuszko have done in thoroughbred racing in New South Wales, which have seen those events go from strength to strength, but also widen the appeal of those events. And I see this in the same way. And you know, our title talks about the B, O and T being breeders, owners and trainers. And there would be not one breeder, owner and trainer that wouldn't be thrilled today to think somewhere in New South Wales they'll have an opportunity and a privilege to represent New South Wales in the inaugural running of the Phoenix.
How do you work out who goes in your slot, Steve, I guess?
Yeah, interesting. In our proposal, we're fortunate to have a number of tracks throughout regional New South Wales. And as I said earlier, not making light of it, you know, times are a bit tough up in New South Wales at the moment. And so we'll make sure that we provide opportunities for participants right through our regions. We've got great support from Minister Anderson, who's the member for Tamworth. So we'll engage the whole of New South Wales, provide opportunities, bring them to headquarters at Wentworth Park, and then you know, choose the lucky slot holder to head down to Victoria to fly the flag for the Blues of New South Wales.
You'll be hard to beat if you draw box number 4, I would imagine, as well in the final. We wish you the best of luck, Steve. Congratulations and well done.
Yeah, I'm over the moon. It's fantastic. So thank you so much. Looking forward to it all.
It's time for the announcement of the second of the slots here, Ash. Take it away.
Well, this one's, I think, is a bit of a no-brainer. They've signed on as the naming rights sponsor with exclusivity to the Phoenix, so it's now going to be called the TAB Phoenix. So it's great pleasure to be able to announce the TAB as the second slot holder in the race. They're a big part of our industry. This is just a further commitment to them and to our club and our industry here in Victoria and to this concept as well. So great to be on board.
And you must be over the moon to get the TAB involved as a major sponsor as well. When you first started this concept, you were probably thinking it would be great to have the TAB to sponsor a race like this.
Absolutely. They were always number one in our mind, but obviously with COVID, things take a bit longer to get done. There's not much face-to-face time, and a lot of things have to be done via a digital medium. So it took a bit of time to get over the line. And by the end, we did have a couple of other major sponsors knocking on our door. So it was really pleasing, not only just to have that external interest, but also to get the TAB signed on, because they're an icon of our industry and it's a really important part of our race. Well,
the face and the hair of the TAB is Nicholas Quinn, and he joins us now to talk about the TAB getting a slot in at the TAB Phoenix. G'day, Quinny. Your hair is looking beautiful as we are in the, hopefully coming towards the end of our lockdown, but there's no hairdressers open these days, so your hair is running amok.
Yeah, well, Gareth, it's in desperate need of a cut and colour, but we're not here to talk about that. The important thing is, as Ash alluded to, we're lucky to be partnering with GRV again for this great concept, and I can't wait to see this race develop as well. You compare it to a horse race like the Everest and the excitement that has gravitated around that sort of event. And I think we'll see something similar here. It was a no-brainer for the TAB to be involved. We're lucky enough to be involved with a couple of the big races like the Melbourne Cup, the Australian Cup and the Great Chase. And this makes a lovely quaddie.
How do you think the TAB will work with their slot? Will they make sure some of their customers, through their account holders, will get an opportunity to be part of being a part owner in the dog that they choose for their slot? How do you think it'll work, Quinny?
I'm not sure if we'll go down the path of getting them involved in the selection of the runner. I know we've got officially known now as the internal Phoenix Committee to sit down and do the form and try and find a runner or two runners potentially in case we don't get the number one seed that we do want representing the business. But this will be a wonderful opportunity for our clients to be involved. We will run competitions. We did with the horse race. You effectively become an owner for the day. So we might get a couple of owners and divvy that up as well. And hopefully we can have some great on-track offers for our clients as well. Just fingers, toes, and in my case, hair crossed, that we will be lucky enough to be trackside by the time the event comes around.
It'll be exciting, Quinny. There's no doubt about that. You'll be on track representing TAB and Sky Racing and all the different media outlets that you represent these days. If you had to choose one dog right now to represent the TAB, who would it be? Probably
No,
Tiggerlong Tonk.
I'm not answering that, because the problem is then if you don't get that runner on the night, your clients become disappointed because they don't think that was the first choice. It's like telling someone, Gareth,
Yes.
that if this girl doesn't say yes to going to dinner, I'll ask you out. I'm not silly enough to do that. There are so many classy runners at the moment. We'd be really happy with any number at the top end.
Sitting on the fence once again, Quinny. You do not want to upset anyone. Well done, mate. Great to have the TAB involved, the slot owners, of course, and also the sponsor of the TAB Phoenix. Can't wait to catch up soon.
Thanks, Gareth, and well done to everyone who's made this race possible. It's such an exciting time for greyhound racing.
It's time for the announcement of our next slot holder in the TAB Phoenix, Ash. Where are we going next?
We're going a bit further and wider here now, Gareth. We're going to head to
New Zealand?
No, not quite that far, unfortunately. We're heading to Western Australia now for an application that was put in by the Dogs WA, which was a fantastic application by that group over there, and I'm sure you'll talk more about it now because I think you've got someone on the line to talk about that.
They're a proud greyhound state in Western Australia. They're very confident they produce the best greyhounds in the country these days, and representing Dogs WA is the manager of greyhound racing across there in Western Australia, Peter Howe. Pete, well done. Congratulations. Dogs WA has a slot in the TAB Phoenix.
Yes, excellent news, Gareth and Ashley. We're super excited by this news to represent the Phoenix with a West Australian viewpoint. And as you touched on, not only, would you argue we would have the best greyhounds running around at the moment, Tommy Shelby being one in particular. So I don't think you're very far off in your statement saying that we think. I think it's actually we do sometimes.
What inspired Dogs WA to try and get into this race?
Yeah, we saw it as a great opportunity. We've got some marketing to do around this product, not only for our West Australian launching a brand called the Dogs WA, but also we see it as a great opportunity to market the code in general across Australia and in helping you guys in Victoria. And it's just a opportunity for us to potentially have another West Australian do it on a national scale.
Dogs WA, I think it's a great move from RAWA and Dogs WA to get involved in this race. There's a lot of talk about how you will actually choose the dog to represent Dogs WA in at the TAB Phoenix. So how will you do it? Will you choose it individually? Will you go to a vote? Will you hold a race series? Can you give us anything regarding how you'll go about this process, Pete?
Yes, I can. The intent will be to generate excitement along the way. So we will have some form of race series to select who will be coming into our position as the slot holder representing us. So we'll open it as an opportunity for anyone to compete, whether or not that's anyone flying over from the east to come over to WA to compete in the series, but it will also be certainly tiered to enabling a West Australian greyhound to be representing this fantastic slot, the Dogs WA. Just
asking for a couple of friends. So with the prize money, does RAWA or Dogs WA and RAWA, do they give all of the prize money away to whoever represents your slot?
Yes, we will be. So we won't be asking for any of the potential prize money to be coming back. So it will be 100% to the connections of the greyhound that gets our coveted slot in this fantastic race.
You might have a few dogs arriving in WA shortly. Well done, Pete. Congratulations.
No, it's exciting news, and thanks for the opportunity, and GRV and the Meadows and everyone involved getting this on. So it's really exciting, and we look forward to December.
Moving on, we need to find out our next slot holder in the TAB Phoenix, Ash.
Yes, Gareth, this one is a bit different to the ones we've announced already so far tonight. It's an individual, so Ray Border, who is a massive breeder and owner in our industry, not just here in Victoria, but South Australia and all over the country. Put in an application, was an excellent application, very diverse, and had a few different ideas as to how to promote the race. The panel took to that very kindly, liked the different exposure that was going to bring, and he was successful in obtaining a slot. So I think you've got Ray on the line now.
Ray, congratulations. You're a slot owner of in the TAB Phoenix, mate. Well done.
Thank you very much. Great news.
How does that make you feel? Were you expecting to, when you put in your applicant, did you think that you're a chance maybe to sneak into the field?
I wasn't sure, but I thought it was worth a go because it's a great concept, and I wanted to be involved.
You're one of the biggest owner and breeders in the game of greyhound racing, Ash just pointed out. What do you think this race will do for your sport?
Oh, look, I just think it gives us profile. It just lifts the image of the industry. You know, I'm involved in the thoroughbred industry as well, and ever since the $1 million race in New South Wales, and now to talk about this race, I've got a lineup of people that want to get involved.
So how will you choose your slot? Obviously, you've got a host of greyhounds to choose from. Every Ashton dog that goes around is your dog, basically. And there's one that's pretty good, mate, a dog by the name of Ashton Rupee. Surely he's got his tilt into the Phoenix as we speak, I would imagine.
Look, I do have him in mind. He's probably my number one draft pick for now. But I've got another good dog called Aston Fastnet as well. And it really depends on what their form's going to be like when we are close to picking our slots.
How do you think that the slot owners will go about trying to pick out their dog? You might get a few phone calls yourself.
Yeah. Well, once again, it'll be how the dogs are going at the time. It's going to be very, very interesting. But I think they're going to have to line up behind me with my two. So, yeah. But who knows? There may be another dog that jumps out of the ground that I might be interested in.
You're a proud South Australian. You'll be representing SA in a way as well, I would imagine, Ray.
Yeah. Look, I will be representing South Australia, but I also consider myself a Victorian because I do nearly all of my racing in Victoria. I do all of my breeding in Victoria, and I love the administration, the way that they're so imaginative and innovative, and they lead the way. So, you know, they're to be congratulated on everything they do for the industry.
Congratulations, Ray. Well done.
Thank you very much.
We've only got about 3 slots left to go, Ash.
Yeah, we're getting to the pointy end of the evening, Gareth, and it's been an exciting sort of half hour or so now already. And the last 3 hours, obviously they're not in any order that we're reading them out, but as you get closer to the end, it makes you realise that there are going to be disappointed people sitting on the other end, crossing their fingers and toes, hoping they get a slot. But we're going to head north for this one into the Sunshine State for Racing Queensland. They put in an application, one of the first jurisdictions to get on the phone to me after I announced the race at the Australian Cup earlier in the year, and has been a big supporter of the initiative, and they put in an excellent application, which I'm sure your next guest will talk to a little bit more. So Racing Queensland is our next slot holder. And the Senior Racing Manager of Racing Queensland is Brenton Scott, and he joins us now. Congratulations, Brenton. Well done.
Thank you. Delighted to hear that outcome, and we'll be doing our best to be a enthusiastic partner.
So Ash just pointed out, as soon as this race series was announced, Racing Queensland was nearly the first. Well, they probably were the first on the phone. So what took your interest in this new race, and why did Racing Queensland want to be part of it?
Sure. I guess aspirational racing, feature racing is very much part of our brand nationally. The developments in that particular space over the past 3 to 4 years has been excellent. And we see the Phoenix as just another chapter in that storyline. So really keen to be part of it from day one. And I think both Greyhound Racing Victoria and the Meadows are to be complimented on the innovation and foresight they're showing.
I think it's great to have Racing Queensland involved in a race like this, that it does bring the sport on a national basis together a little bit, Brenton.
Yes, it does. I think this event is nicely positioned to take a really prominent position in the wagering marketplace at that time of the year. We see it as a great opportunity for us to complement our own Golden Grey Summer Carnival, which runs between late November and February, we see the inclusion of a slot for Racing Queensland as part of that. We'll be taking a very, very parochial position. Our slot holder will be a Queensland trained greyhound, and we're very proud to be able to give a Queensland-based runner an opportunity to take a crack at $750,000 in prize money. Obviously, a game-changing, life-changing opportunity.
So it'll be a Queensland greyhound. Do you pick the best Queensland greyhound that is going around at that particular time, or will you conduct a race series? How will that all work there, Brenton?
Yeah, we at this stage we'd still like to bed those details down, but it'll certainly be an opportunity where all Queenslanders will have the opportunity to be part of that, and we would look to ensure that the methodology we employed certainly meant that we would be well represented by one of our star greyhounds.
And as you just pointed out, so if you do get to represent Racing Queensland in the Tab Phoenix and you win that race, you get all of the prize money, $750,000 for winning the Tab Phoenix. You don't have to give anything back to Racing Queensland, is that right?
Yeah, no, it'll be certainly, and I think that's the whole point that we're trying to provide here, that this is an opportunity specific to Queenslanders, Queensland trained greyhounds, and they're getting an opportunity to take a shot at a really unique event. We'll make that selection process very public over the next 2 weeks, and we think that it'll be deeply appreciated by Queensland participants who are obviously going to have a shot at some really, really impressive prize money.
I think it's very exciting for the industry in Queensland. Well done, Brenton, and congratulations.
Congratulations at that end. Again, most appreciative of being selected as a slot holder. Looking forward to it.
Well, Ash, there's only 3 spots left in the Tab Phoenix.
Yeah, there is, Gareth. We're getting more and more nervous as we approach 6, 7 and 8. Yeah, look, this one was a very good application, pretty close to home. And it's Greyhound Racing New South Wales. They put in a lot of effort towards your application. The independent assessment panel were really impressed with the way that they took an approach to selecting their greyhound, how they're going to promote the race. So they were pretty much walk up in terms of tick and flick for the panel. So yeah, great application, and thrilled to have Greyhound Racing New South Wales on board.
And our next guest is one of the best administrators in the game, Tony Mestroff, of course, the CEO of Greyhound Racing New South Wales. Tony, congratulations. You're in the Tab Phoenix. Well done.
Oh, thank you, Gareth. Fantastic news. As soon as I heard the concept came out, we wanted to get involved. We'd seen the impact of the Everest here in New South Wales, and it caught the imagination of the racing public. So I can't wait to bring a racing schedule out for our participants here in New South Wales, and the opportunity for a New South Wales dog to win $750,000 is immense.
You've got the $1 million chase, and unfortunately in the world that we're living in, you weren't able to race it this year. But now you've got a chance for your participants to win a $750,000 race in the Tab Phoenix. How will you go about choosing your dog to represent your slot?
Yeah, well, obviously when we put the submission in, we were very mindful of coming up with some ideas. The racing team and marketing teams work closely together. So obviously now we've got the slot confirmed. We can work on it. Look, it's just to give everyone, and I mean every participant in New South Wales, the best chance. Obviously, we've got a huge stake. We need to take that into consideration. But we want the best dog going to Victoria on December 18 at the Meadows.
And from a marketing point of view, obviously this race will be conducted in Victoria, but I think it's a race for the sport, for the entire country to celebrate in a way.
It is, Gareth, definitely. And I think we've seen tough times across the country, particularly here in New South Wales with the COVID lockdowns, and also in Victoria. So I think it'll be a huge boost. One of our major media partners is the Daily Telegraph News Corp, and we're going to work closely with them to promote this race. So I'm sure New South Wales participants and the public really look forward to that. So I think it will capture the minds and hearts of New South Wales people, and we can't wait to promote it.
Sensational stuff. Tony, congratulations. Welcome to the Tab Phoenix and looking forward to seeing how you go about choosing your dog for this great race.
Thank you, Gareth. I just want to congratulate Greyhound Racing Victoria and Alan Clayton and Peter Dunk for coming up with such a great concept. Well done. And also Ash and the Meadows as well.
Good on you, Tony. Thanks for that.
Thank you.
Brilliant. We are getting down to the business end. Only 2 more spots left in the Tab Phoenix. Take it away, Ash.
Thanks, Gareth. There's probably a few people sitting nervously here in Victoria because we haven't had a lot of Victorian flavour so far, but I'm extremely proud to announce the Craig Hutchison and Sports Entertainment Network as our 7th slot holder in the race. Obviously, great supporters of our industry here in Victoria, but also around the country. They put in a fantastic application again to utilise all of their media assets, and they look like being a big part of this race going forward. So the panel were overwhelmed with obviously the applications that they had, but Sports Entertainment Network was a walk-up start as well based on what they presented.
And the CEO of the Sports Entertainment Network is Craig Hutchison, and Hutchie joins us. I think he's in Tasmania at the moment at Launceston, and I think you might just hear the roar from Hutchie there in Tassie right now. Well done to Hutchie and, of course, the Sports Entertainment Network, and you've got your slot in the Tab Phoenix. Well done, Hutchie.
Gareth, thank you. What an honour to have a slot in the Phoenix. We're a big believer in this concept. It's great for the sport. It creates such anticipation. The business model around it's fantastic, and it actually gives everyone a chance. And it's got something in it for everyone, particularly our listeners. We'll be delighted across SEN Track to get right behind this in our 1116 station and all of our syndicated networks to get some excitement around this magnificent event. I think the week that it's been picked in December is superb, and being able to give it a national share of the spotlight. We'll be broadcasting there as well on the night. So, yeah, incredible opportunity to get involved in the sport and to give something back and to be part of something a lot of fun, Gareth.
So, Hutchie, what inspired the Sports Entertainment Network to try and get a slot in the Phoenix?
Well, I think, first of all, we've always loved the idea. It's a brilliant concept, wonderfully thought through, very engaging, and there's so many different things you can do with this slot. The flexibility that it gives you to leverage into other participants and in your audience, and to be a little bit innovative with the dog that you select and the way that you work through that. And also love the time of the year. I think December and the national spotlight, as I mentioned, that it'll get. So, yeah, we loved it. We think our SEN Track brand in particular, which is all about fun and engagement and a community and a bit of banter, will definitely benefit from being involved. And we love the sport, as you know, so it's a great honour for us to be involved.
How are you going to choose your greyhound for your slot, Hutchie?
Well, that's interesting. I think we've got some great greyhound people in our world. You know, the likes of Mitch Bayer or eBay, who's heard on our sale Sundays on SEN Track, and of course Thursday night on the Lids Fly on SEN Track. We have an Inside Track Club with Troy Little, who's arguably the best judge in Australia at insidetrackclub.com.au, and getting Troy and all that community who each and every week get online and participate in Zoom calls very much like this and get a staking plan. So getting that audience of highly engaged fans involved, we will look to do. And then also our listeners is the other opportunity in getting them involved. So there's a few ways we might attack it. Clearly, I'm the worst judge of all, so I'll be having no opinion, Gareth, and we'll be allowing the experts to help work with us to pick the best available option.
And Hutchie, you own nearly every radio station around the country these days, so you'll have plenty of ways to promote the Phoenix.
Yeah, we will, and we're going to get right behind that through our SEN Track network and our stations 1593 here in Melbourne, our stations in the Latrobe Valley and in Mildura. Our 1116 SEN Sport will be right behind it. Our SEN Fanatic platform will be involved. Our Sports Day syndicated show through Regional Victoria, and then 3AW, our Off the Bench program on Saturdays, and a whole lot more. Yeah, we'll get right behind it. We've got a greyhound show called Thrill the Chase coming up, which will be very evenly covering all participants in the Phoenix, and we look forward to playing a small role.
Well done, Hutchie. Congratulations.
Thanks, Gareth.
Thanks,
well done
Hutchie.
to you, mate.
So, Ash, there's only one more slot left.
We're down to the final slot holder,
Yes.
and
Drum roll.
yeah, drum roll. Pleased to announce that Sportsbet's a successful applicant in that space. They're a well-known entity in our industry and the wagering landscape. They do a fantastic job promoting novelty-type marketing around the sports and racing industry, and excited to have them on board to see what they can do.
Let's catch up with a representative from Sportsbet. Congratulations, well done.
Hi, Gareth. Thank you. Yeah, we are thrilled to have secured a spot for Sportsbet. So thanks for having me on.
So what inspired Sportsbet to get involved in the Phoenix?
Well, first of all, we just love the concept. I mean, we've seen the success that Racing New South Wales has had with the Everest, with the best racing against the best, and that's something that really appeals to us at Sportsbet. So we are super excited to get behind the concept and really hope that it's a success from day one.
How do you think the Phoenix will engage new racing fans and punters?
Yeah, thanks. So I think the actual beauty of the Phoenix is the actual narrative that it can bring to the sport. I mean, we're finding at Sportsbet that the greyhound racing is really appealing to that next generation of punters, and we feel as though with our position in the market as the actual dominant player, that we feel as though that we can support our dog, the race, and Greyhound Racing Victoria in making this event the best event possible.
I'm interested to hear how Sportsbet intends to pick their greyhound for their slot.
Well, Gareth, we are very lucky at Sportsbet to have the best greyhound racing analysts in the country. And I know that the team has already drawn up a hit list of some dogs that we actually are going to target to be our slot holder. But that's not to say, Gareth, that if a trainer or owner is out there watching and they wish to be involved in the race, please feel free to pick up the phone, be in touch, and happy to have the conversation.
And do you think that your customers there at Sportsbet, that we all know that love to punt on the greyhounds, will be getting behind the Phoenix?
Yeah, thanks. So we are looking to give our Sportsbet customers the opportunity to own our dog for the night. It does go without saying that we're going to be having our market-leading generosity, amazing content, as well as a large hospitality presence on track there at the Meadows on the 18th of December. And obviously being a Melburnian, everyone's going to be long overdue for a night out. So he's hoping that we can all get together and celebrate in person.
Good luck. Well done.
Thanks, Gareth. Cheers.
So there we go. There are the 8 slot holders for the first ever running of the TAB Phoenix. And let's go through the slot holders. The first slot holder that we announced was Greyhound Breeders Owners and Traders Association. And Steve Noyce, he is excited.
Yeah, they're super excited up there in New South Wales. They obviously represent a large portion of the participants, and he had some great ideas as to how they're going to promote the race. So fantastic to have them on board.
It's the TAB Phoenix, of course, and Nick Quinn represented the TAB because they've also got a slot.
Yeah, they sure do. And as we mentioned, they've now come on as exclusive naming rights partners. So it's fantastic to have them involved, big supporters of our industry, and I have no doubt that they'll do whatever they can to promote the heck out of the race. I
think a lot of participants across in Western Australia will be over the moon that Dogs WA have secured a slot in the TAB Phoenix as well, Ash.
Again, that just shows the true national flavour of this sort of race, and they've got a big greyhound following over there, and I think they've got some exciting initiatives they're going to roll out at some point leading up to December as to how they're going to select their representative.
I think the big question is, can Tommy Shelby continue to race for that long?
We might see a new greyhound burst onto the scene, perhaps. We'll see. We'd love to see Tommy because he'll help sell the race itself, but we've got a little bit water under the bridge to get to there yet.
Ray Border also was able to get into the race. Ray Border, of course, is one of the biggest names in the sport of greyhound racing. He's one of the biggest owner and breeders, and he was over the moon as well to learn that he's been able to get a slot in the Phoenix.
Yeah, absolutely. Ray's a big supporter of our industry across the country, but it wasn't just because he's such a large investor in our sport. He had a fantastic application. He runs a lot of businesses, particularly in South Australia, and he's going to leverage off those audiences that he's got, some of the social media following with some of those businesses, which are around pet food and other types of things like that, are in the 30 and 40,000. So he's got a whole new audience there, which is exactly what we were looking for. And he's also connected to the Port Adelaide Power and Ken Hinkley, and there's a bit of leverage off there, along with the thoroughbred industry in South Australia. So he's going to bring a new flavour to the race, and it's great to have an individual involved.
Ashton Fastner and Ashton Rupee, he's got a few decisions to make as well, Ray.
Maybe there's
interesting.
Maybe there's a new one. We're 13 weeks, we're nearly 100 days or so out from the race, or I think we're just inside 100 days out from the race. It's a long time in the life of a greyhound. We might see a new greyhound with the Aston name pop onto the scene.
And the Queenslanders also have a slot in at the TAB Phoenix, and Brenton Scott was, of course, excited to hear that Queensland have a slot. And a little bit like Dogs WA, the winner who gains the slot for Racing Queensland, whoever gets that opportunity, gets a chance to take home $750,000 if they can take out the Phoenix, which is just terrific.
That's life-changing sort of money for our industry, Gareth. And Racing Queensland have a big following up there as well. They leverage across all three platforms, the harness and the thoroughbred. So it's a great opportunity for them to promote a massive race. The $750,000 is huge, even in the scheme of both the other codes, particularly in Queensland. So great to have them involved, and I think they too are going to be showing a fair bit of initiative as to how they're going to promote their race and or their series and get a Queensland dog involved.
Greyhound Racing New South Wales has also won a slot, and Tony Mestrov's excited as well.
Yeah, he was certainly up and about. Obviously, there's some very healthy rivalry between Greyhound Racing Victoria and Greyhound Racing New South Wales, and it's fantastic to have them involved as well. Again, they put in a really unique application. A lot of thought went into these applications all the way through from, Ray Border as an individual through to Racing Queensland and Grand Racing New South Wales. So I've no doubt that they'll use their partnerships up there with the media really well and be involved in a big way.
We all know that Craig Hutchison loves his greyhound racing, and I would imagine he would be the chair of the panel picking the slot for the Sports Entertainment Network, because they've also gained a slot in the Tab Phoenix. Yeah,
fantastic to have Hutchie and the team involved. What I loved hearing tonight was I think it was Nick Quinn mentioned that the Tab have already got an internal Phoenix working committee, and that's exactly what we wanted this race to do. We got all these organisations and individuals behind the scenes now trying to work out how they're going to promote the race, how they're going to select a dog, and how they're going to try and get a share of that $750,000. So fantastic to have Craig and Sports Entertainment Network involved.
I think Hutchie's right-hand man when it comes to greyhound racing, Troy Little, will play a major part in helping select the dog, because Troy Little, we all know, is one of the gun punters in the sport of greyhound racing, and Sportsbet are well renowned for the way that they promote the racing industries in all three codes. So I can't wait to see what they've got up their sleeve in promoting the Phoenix, because they are the last of the slot holders.
Yeah, again, they put in a very creative application, as you would have expected from a business like Sportsbet. They've got some great ideas, particularly around the peripheral in terms of how they're going to promote it and maximise it. They have a very large following, particularly on Facebook and Twitter. Very creative with a lot of their content. So hopefully we'll see a bit of that flow through to the Phoenix. But great to have them involved, and we've got a really, truly national race now.
And Greyhound Racing Victoria, along with the Meadows, must be over the moon, because listening to the administrators around the country, they're just so grateful to be involved with a race like this, but it's in our own backyard here in Victoria.
Yep.
So well done to Alan Clayton and Peter Duncan as well.
Absolutely. A big thank you to Peter Duncan, Alan Clayton and all of the team there. They've put a lot of time and effort into helping us get to where we've got to today. They're going to be a big part of this journey all the way through to December 18 and for years to come. And we can't do races like this entirely on our own. It's important that we have the support of our administrators, and it's fantastic to have that support from GRV. So we've got, I think, a bit under 100 days to go now, Gareth, and the story's just starting to begin.
Can you believe it, really? When you're sitting here right now and listening to the slot holders and how excited they are, and it's actually happening. The Tab Phoenix.
It's amazing. I mean, you think of how long we've been in COVID now, and I think you and I not sat down. I think we got on the phone not long after we went into our first national lockdown, and we said, let's make this race work, and we fleshed out ideas for about 6 months, and then finally, February this year, we managed to sort of get the concept over the line, and here we are today, roughly 18 months later, and we've actually got $1 million race we're about to put on.
So what's next? What can we look forward to?
Well, COVID's determining everything at the moment in terms of our course of action, but that's why we're here today and not at a great big cocktail party down on St Kilda Beach like I had envisaged. But we will have a bit of a fluid timeline. It'll now be about telling the story of all the slot holders, getting a bit of narrative around that national flavour, what they're doing, how they're promoting it outside of their normal channels, and then we'll sort of head on to the box draw that weekend before we get to the Phoenix. And if we're all allowed to do a bit of socialising and get out and about, we'll make a big deal of it. I've got some ideas around charity golf days and other things. I'd really love to make a full week of this leading up to. It's a great time of year because it's Christmas, everyone's celebrating, Christmas parties, work, end of year. We can really make a big week of it. So there'll be a lot of storytelling from now until that week out, and then that week out will be about the box draw and the events leading up to the 18th.
I think the narratives behind the stories for the Tab Phoenix will be something else. This will be a game changer for the sport. You heard from the slot owners what their trying to do to promote not only this race, but promote the sport of greyhound racing. Can't wait to see what unfolds. And we've announced the slot holders today, but there's so much more to come because the slot holders need greyhounds. So deals will be done, race series will be conducted, all in the bid to get together a wonderful field, 8 dogs to compete in the first ever running of the Tab Phoenix on Saturday night, December 18th. It'll come around pretty quickly, Ash.
Yeah, it sure will. We got a lot of work to do to make sure it's a success, but we're on the way, and I'm really excited. I can't get the smile off my face. It's great.
Well done.
Thanks, mate.
And congratulations to the slot holders. Can't wait as we continue the build-up to the first ever running of the Tab Phoenix. Thanks for your company, and we'll catch you again soon.